A lot of enthusiasm around Bitcoin. Hit a new record high yesterday. Got a couple questions for you. What's moving us higher? How big of a factor are institutional investors? We saw the Bitcoin ETFs launch. How much are retail investors? So much enthusiasm out there. Our EP was just out in Vegas. He said, first question from a cab driver, are you in Bitcoin? So, I mean, what's moving Bitcoin higher right now?
And that is typically your, classic story of hitting a peak bubble moment. But what's different this time around is that institutional money is here in a way that it wasn't during past bull runs. The spot ETFs have both solidified Bitcoin's place as an asset class, but they've also been setting new records. Collectively, in the last 2 months, those 10 U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs have brought in $50 billion. You look at BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, it is the fastest that an ETF has gone from $0 to $10 billion in assets. So clearly institutional money is a game changer. But there are other things happening under the hood, so to speak. You've got these technological advancements that are apparently going to put Bitcoin on par with Ethereum. So a lot of developers are flooding into Bitcoin in a way that they haven't in the past.
Oh, so like a real use case for Bitcoin. Because like a lot of times there's arguments like, does it have a use case as a currency, as a stored value? But you're saying developers are finding more use cases.
Oh, right. I mean, Bitcoin has actually been proud of the fact historically that it's kind of a boring commodity. It's stable, it's this store of value, something you can rely on in that sense. But I've been talking to a lot of coders in this ecosystem and a lot of VCs. I was just out in Denver talking to A16Z Crypto's chief, Chris Dixon. And there's so much enthusiasm around these so-called layer 2 companies. Yeah. So basically all the startups building on top of Bitcoin.
All right. By the way, I like the name drop. An A16, Chris Dixon. I like that one. So you're taking us under the hood. Explain this to us. The halving. It sounds almost like a horror movie, like the halving. It's bad. But it's actually generally a tailwind when it comes to Bitcoin and actually all of cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah. So in a couple of weeks from now, this market-making event called the halving, which happens roughly every 4 years, is going to cut the production of new Bitcoin in half. It is something that is baked into Bitcoin's code, and it's meant to be a deflationary measure. And it kind of goes to this larger narrative of part of why Bitcoin is doing so well is basic supply-demand economics, right? You've got spot ETFs buying up Bitcoin. You're about to have new Bitcoin production cut in half. And then all these startups that are building on top of Bitcoin actually have the effect of scooping up supply. So it's all kind of moving in Bitcoin's favor with respect to price.
All right, so Bitcoin's hitting new highs. It's pulled back, obviously. But when you see those kind of moves, investors generally look in the crypto space for other opportunities. What's the other area that investors are looking at for opportunities right now?
So what brought me out to Denver was actually this ETH Denver event, 20,000 people kind of coming in. And the biggest narrative out of that, Frank, was an upgrade coming in a couple of weeks from now, which is going to slash transaction costs by up to 90%. And that is a game changer with respect to what coders can build on top of Ethereum. So we're talking about decentralized social media apps, gaming. There are going to be these use cases that just weren't possible before because it was too cost prohibitive.